Jeez, you okay?
I'm fine.
You know that you're standing on the wrong side of the railing.
I do?
Our condos are 3 stories up.
Yes, well aware.
Can't possibly breach the gap
Yes,
between
I
us.
see that.
Ask why?
I've come to the conclusion that the Earth, nature, the stars, all of it is absolutely absurd. But I won't jump.
Glad to hear it.
If
If what?
if you give me a convincing reason not to.
Oh, do you believe in God?
God gives us nuts, he doesn't crack them. 10 seconds.
Family?
Association with humans lures one into self-observation. Next.
That certainly happens with my family.
Answer the question. 5 seconds.
What's the question?
What is the meaning of life?
Before I answer, can I ask you a question? Why me?
Well, you might be an omen.
Me? An omen?
Some otherworldly power may be trying to have a Zoom conference with me through you.
What about me made you think someone might be using me for Zoom purposes?
I'm a very good judge of people. Just by looking at you, I can tell that you're a monk who has a taste for hamburgers.
No.
You give shoes away to little children.
Nope.
You're an airline co-pilot who doesn't play by the rules.
I'm a writer. No, you didn't.
What do you write? Science fiction, horror fiction. Are you Stephen King?
What? No, I'm not Stephen King.
Bummer. Now that would have been an omen.
You a Stephen King fan?
No,
Ever read one of his books?
not one.
Then why would meeting Stephen King
Well,
be an
think about
omen?
it. Mere moments before demise, by chance, out of 8 billion people, I ran into the man who single-handedly revived the genre of horror fiction in the late 20th century.
You're right. That would be an omen.
But unfortunately, I ran into you, who, like most, is too caught up in the stubborn facts of daily life. I will trouble you no further.
Wait, I lied. I am Stephen King.
Really.
I single-handedly revived the genre of horror fiction in the late 20th century.
Would you autograph one of your books for me?
Sure, but I don't have one on me.
Time's up.
Hold on. How about if I sign this broom?
No, that'll work.
You
No, friends.
friends. You mean friends? You mean as in Franz Kafka?
That's me.
The guy who wrote Metamorphosis, that story about a guy who wakes up one morning to discover he's been transformed into a giant cockroach.
Bad translation. Should have read Radioactive Vermin.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's F-R.
That's okay. That's okay. I know how to spell. This is weird. Really, really weird. Here you go, Mr. Kafka.
Thank you. Oh, well, do you know what I'm going to do now?
You're a therapist.
No. I'm going to the library to check out one of your books. Which do you recommend?
Silence of the Lambs, I think.
Have you ever noticed that in every story, autobiography or even biography, the protagonist is always searching for something?
I guess.
They're trying to find the nebulous, transcendental it.
It?
It. The meaning of life. But in the end, what does the protagonist find?
Don't know.
A simple, formulaic answer. No matter how good the writer or the protagonist seems to find, it's a simple, formulaic answer and resignation.
What the heck?
you?
Out here.
Ballers is on. Want a bench?
I just had the most crazy experience. This well-dressed stranger came out on the balcony of the unoccupied condo next door, right? And he told me everything was absurd. And then he talked about the nebulous transcendental it.
Cool. What happened to the broom?
I gave it to Franz.
Who?
Franz, the person on the next balcony who said he was going to kill himself.
With the broom?
I talked him out of it.
How?
I autographed the broom.
Was he suffering from mental illness?
No, I told him I was Stephen King.
Are you suffering from mental illness?
Look, I was watching TV and my mind, it just began to wonder. And I thought, why am I here? Am I just spending my time consumed by the stubborn facts of daily life rather than asking the big questions? So I stepped out here, and then perfectly timed, I turned, and there was this stranger just standing on the next balcony.
The condo next door is unoccupied.
I know, but I swear, Franz Kafka was there.
Kafka the writer?
Yes.
He wrote that absurd story about the guy who turns into a cockroach.
Bad translation. Should have read Radioactive Vermin.
And just before that happened, you were thinking about the meaning of life. Like, what? Your purpose?
I guess purpose can bring meaning.
You mean your purpose like right now or overall?
Well, both.
That's easy. Your purpose right now is to come inside and binge watch Ballers, and overall, it's to go down to the hardware store and buy a new broom.
Look at my life. It's absurd. It is, in fact, absurd. I spend every Sunday sitting here binge watching bullshit with you and staring down at a park.
It's a wonderful
Don't
park.
Don't you see? All this is trivial. In 100 years, this building probably won't even be here, and the park will most likely be replaced by some sort of synthetic waterless park. And no one will ever know or care that I existed.
Well, look at the bright side, sweetheart. The park might be replaced with lifeless, radiation-filled dirt.
We don't have to go that far.
Okay, synthetic and waterless. Your point?
Why am I here? Why are any of us here? Why shouldn't we all just jump?
Everyone can't.
Why not?
Not everyone lives in a high-rise condo.
Have you ever thought maybe William Faulkner was right? It's all just folly and despair and victory, only in an illusion of philosophers and fools.
Was William Faulkner also here?
I'm having an existential crisis.
You know why I was attracted to you?
Why?
Because you were voted by the graduating class least likely to read Franz Kafka or William Faulkner.
I've got to go to the library.
Why?
To find Franz and ask him about the meaning of life.
But what about Ballers?
I don't know. I gotta think. Oh, crap! It's Franz!
And then he left and never came back.
This yours?
And then this morning I thought to myself, it's gonna be a good day.
If not, I gotta toss it in the lost and found.
Gotta shop in the mall, and then I've gotta pick up my Zoloft and buy a new broom.
A what?
A broom. But then in the underwear aisle at Nordstrom's, it hit me. Why is it a good day?
Wouldn't know.
Is it good simply because I'm gonna be busy? Is that all life's about? Buying stuff and binge watching Ballers so we don't have to come face to face with our utter insignificance?
As much as I'd like to continue, what's your Apple ID?
Why?
You've walked into an Apple Genius bar.
You asked if I needed help.
I meant with an Apple product, and this isn't an actual bar. We don't serve rum and coke.
Why do you call yourselves geniuses?
It's just a catchy name.
It's a simple question. What is the meaning of life? Is it to help others? Is it to sit in really uncomfortable positions under Zen trees?
What brings my life meaning is to have a purpose.
And what's your purpose? Selling overpriced iPads to millennials? That justifies your existence?
No, my purpose is to earn a living so that I can spend my weekends in my garage building the exact replica of the bridge of the Starship Enterprise.
Okay, but is that a purpose or just something to keep you occupied so you don't have to face the absurdity of life?
You make it sound like it's some sort of plywood replica. Mine's built with an aerospace grade chromium alloy that's so real it's like real. I'm living the hero's journey.
You can't be serious.
Every weekend, I accept the call to duty, confront the unknown, and then warp drive it back to the Federation star space.
But you're going to get old and die and you'll never have been outside your garage.
I am going to make sweet love to the shapeshifting Princess Troyes this weekend. And, might I add, live to tell about it. What about you? Buying a broom.
My God,
You okay?
you're right.
I didn't mean to upset you.
Know what I need?
The Zoloft?
I need to do what all Americans do when they realize they're living an anonymous, mundane, absurd life.
Buy an Apple Watch?
No, go on a cruise.
They're petri dishes with propellers.
No, they're pools and gyms and casinos and spending your afternoons launching golf balls into the deep blue while bubbly waiters treat you special because they're stuck in a service economy and the beautiful ocean, which is filled with plastic golf balls, and it's all there to distract you from how meaningless your life is. And
People are looking.
people are looking. And today, my partner goes off and tells me life is absurd and runs off to find Franz Kafka. And I'm here talking to a stranger about the meaning of life, and I just bought underwear. Do you know what I have plenty of?
Underwear?
Drawers full. I have enough to last me the rest of my life. So why am I buying underwear in the shopping mall? Do you know why shopping malls exist?
Why?
The same reason cruise lines exist. To keep us occupied so we don't hear the relentless ticking of all the clocks.
Well, look. I don't normally do this, but why don't you come over to my house this weekend?
What?
I'm looking for a navigation officer.
I'm sorry, but I can't just drive to some stranger's garage.
I don't have to. I can beam you up.
I'm sorry. I guess I had a bit of a panic attack.
Don't worry. It happens all the time here when people see our prices. You okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Look, I don't know much, but I do know. You can't find a meaning of life if you're constantly under a panic attack or constantly distracted.
But that's modern life.
Only ask the question when you have a grasp on your sense of humor, and while you're at it, throw in a little common sense. Common sense and sense of humor are the same thing, just moving at different speeds. Dancing. Only ask the meaning of life after you've danced a little. Will you join me in this existential dance?
But people are looking.
No. They're distracting themselves by buying crap they don't need, so you don't have to come face to face with the utter insignificance of shopping malls. Now you're ready to ask the meaning of life. And then she left.
To return the underwear?
Don't know. Does it matter to the story? Then, before I knew it, it was the weekend and Princess Troyes.
Who?
the heir to the throne of the Precrossosian Empire,
Right.
was obviously interested in using all of her shapeshifting abilities to seduce me, but I couldn't do it.
Do what?
Exchange proplasmic mucus?
Good for you.
Then I saw the light.
Yes, the light.
This little ray of light, it was coming from behind the track beam control panel, so I got up, released the titanium patches, and pulled back the panel, and behind I saw it.
It?
The garage door.
And this was a revelation?
Yes. There, on the door, in the dust, I saw.
An image of Christ.
No,
Mary.
no. A little window.
With an image of Christ on it.
No. It was just a little window. I've lived there for years, and I never noticed that my garage door has a little window. A little star-shaped one. A little peephole. Right in the center. Isn't that amazing?
Not as amazing as the miracle of Guadalajara in 1911, but...
And I
Okay.
looked through this little peephole, and I saw children playing, and birds flying, and
Yes. God's wonderful embellishments.
cars honking, and dogs barking, and I just drank it in for a moment, and then,
Faced reality.
no. Then it hit me. T.S. Eliot was right. Humankind cannot bear very much reality, so I got some spray paint from the workbench and painted all over the little window. And I put the cover back on the tracker beam and made sweet love to the princess like I was Captain Kirk and she was Lieutenant Uhura. I mean, they were out in space for years. There must have been a lot of star dates going on behind those automatic sliding doors.
I'm more than confused. Why did you want to meet with me?
'Cause it occurred to me, we have a lot in common.
Do we now?
We both have found a pleasing, unreal reality.
I would hardly call what I do unreal.
Then what would you call it?
Real.
Really? You're wearing a red robe and a silly hat in public, and what's the staff about?
It's called a crosier. It's the rod of God.
The rod of God.
Yes, you are the flock and I am the rod. I mean the metaphor. I mean the shepherd.
And I'm Captain Reno, who replaced Captain Archer, who replaced Captain Janeway, who replaced Captain Sisko, who replaced Pickard, who replaced James T. Kirk. Captains on the animated versions, I don't count.
I don't see how you could possibly compare what we do.
Transubstantiation. Teleporting. We may vary the metaphor, but we both find meaning. I mean, think about it. We both have religious texts. You, the Bible, me, the Federation Star Space Standards and Practices Manual.
Mine was written by God.
And mine by Gene Roddenberry. Peace be upon him.
There is a difference.
It's like Nietzsche said, and thus spake Zarathustra. God is dead, and we've replaced him with Star Trek.
Do you hear those people cheering?
So?
They've come to see me.
Why? Pulling off a miracle or something?
No, I'm participating in our first annual leap of faith. In a moment, I'm going to climb atop that spire.
Geez, way up there.
I'm told 300 feet up, where I shall have bungee cables attached to my ankles. And as I stand on the edge, lean into space and plummet, I shall know that I, unlike you, am living in reality.
Father, a bit of advice. I've traveled the universe from the Delta Quadrant to the Max Store on the 59th, and the only thing I know for sure is reality sucks. That's why we all need a bit of virtual reality to escape the endless bewildering complexity of raw phenomena. I mean, we need something pleasing and predictable like
Religion?
and Star Trek to help us.
Understand the world.
That's why we create metaphors and symbols that don't occur in nature, like, what did you say a thing is called?
A crochet?
For only when we create symbols can we move on to significance.
And from significance to meaning.
Bless you, Father.
Live long and prosper. And then he left.
Married the princess and lived happily ever after?
Don't know. Does it matter to the story?
I guess not. Okay, so you got about 200 members of the Youth League waiting down there. You don't want to disappoint.
Question.
Sure.
I've heard there's a recall on bungee cables.
Not this year.
But there have been
That
recalls
I know of.
in the past.
Now and then. That's life. Okay, your feet.
Huh?
I gotta strap these to your ankles.
Oh, right.
Ooh, red shoes. Really cool.
Do people ever have second thoughts?
Oh, all the time. But once they find out there's no refund, they generally go through with it.
And if by chance something should go wrong?
Don't worry. That little piece of paper you signed, that releases us from any liability. Leg?
Excuse me?
I need to bind your other ankle.
Oh.
You know, out of all the people that I've done this with, I feel like you would be the least nervous.
How many people have you done?
I'm sorry, what? Oh! Gosh, what, I don't know, what, 5, 6?
You've only done this with 5 or 6 people?
Oh, don't worry, I'm certified.
By whom?
Mama's big jump school of Baton Rouge. You taking the cane with?
What?
The thingamabob?
It's not a cane, it's a crosier. And it's the rod of God.
Oh, well, if I were you, I would leave God's rod behind.
Kinda attached to it. You know, a security blanket.
Look, on the way down, you get going about 50 miles per hour. So when you snap back up, you might drop it. And that could become a projectile.
Hadn't considered that.
And let me tell you, if a member of the Youth League was impaled by the falling rod of God dropped by a bungee jumping Cardinal, I think that would definitely make some of them doubt.
And it could make next Sunday's Mass awkward.
Deep breaths. Relax. And here goes.
Wait! Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What is faith?
You are asking me?
Yes.
Well, it seems to me like everything is a jump of faith.
Leap.
Let's say that you're an atheist.
I'm not, if you haven't noticed.
But just say that you were.
But I'm not.
I'm guessing. You're guessing. Do you know what the Pope's doing when he's talking to thousands of people in St. Peter's Square?
Guessing.
That's life. And you're never gonna know unless you strap in and jump.
But wouldn't the world be far less absurd if we could find a rational way to God?
No doubt. But in reality, you can't add or subtract your way to God. Or no God. You just gotta...
Leap.
Or you'll spend your days in incurable uncertainty and perpetual hesitation. The meaning of life is to take action. And without risk. Say it. Without risk.
Life has no meaning.
Did he make it?
Is it important to the story?
I suppose not.
You know, the first time I bungeed, it was amazing. On the 100th on the way down, I was actually thinking about my unpaid bills. And then one day it hit me. Is that all that there is to bungee jumping? So I upped the stakes.
A higher platform.
Cocaine.
And how did that go?
After a while, I thought, is that all there is to cocaine?
And so you moved on to
A BMW X3.
Let me guess. Pretty soon you were asking, is that all there is to X3s?
Wow, you're good at this.
I'm a therapist. It's my job to be good at this.
So I went for the ultimate high.
God.
No. A BMW X7 and fame. You know that longing gaze you get from people who drive Hondas? That feeling that we matter.
But isn't fame fleeting?
Is it?
I had a couple who came to see me once who said that their love life was boring, their jobs mind-numbing, and their weekends absurdly meaningless. And then one day they told me they discovered the meaning of life.
Really?
A follower.
Don't understand.
They hired someone to follow them.
Someone to just follow them around?
And compliment them. After she dressed in the morning, she'd step into the living room where the follower would be waiting to say something nice about her outfit. At breakfast, the follower complimented him on his cereal selection. And at work, the follower constantly told them that they were doing a great job.
But they still had the same mind-numbing employment?
It worked so well, they decided to hire 10 followers.
They had 10 people following them all day long?
In order to bring meaning into their boring drive to work, they decided to have their followers act as paparazzi and drive up beside them and take their pictures.
God, that's so weird.
Then they hired 50, then 100. And then one day I was at Yankee Stadium when the Jumbotron lit up. It was them.
What were they doing?
Having sex.
You're kidding.
They decided in order to bring meaning into their boring love life, they had to hack into the Jumbotron and do it live in front of 50,000 people.
What happened?
Yankees won.
But why?
I asked them. They said, no one exists unless they're observed.
So, what, they had to have somebody else's permission to live a meaningful life? It's kind of sad.
Always remember the words of the Roman playwright Seneca, who said, shape your life according to people's opinions, and you'll discover that Yankee fans can be highly judgmental.
You missed her!
Who?
Martha Stewart.
The cooking show personality?
I was making lunch and then I heard a knock at the door, and so I went to go check it, and when I opened the door, there stood, for real, Martha Stewart.
Why would Martha Stewart come to our house?
She was passing by in her limousine and she needed to use the bathroom.
The bathroom?
Well, you can understand she's not the type of person to use a service station.
So she just knocked on a random door?
Apparently that's what she does. And then we got to talking and I made her lunch.
You're kidding!
Oh, she even left us a gift, a signed copy of her latest book. Let me get it.
Wow. Martha fucking Stewart.
Oh my God.
Everything okay?
Oh my God.
Honey, what?
She,
Who?
Martha Stewart, she left us a gift.
So you said.
No, a different gift. She, how do I say this? Forgot to...
Flush?
Ugh. I was walking down the hall and the guest bathroom lights were on, and so I went in to turn them off, and then right there next to my brand new Martha Stewart living space handy bathroom organizer, I saw it staring back at me.
For God's sakes, let a man take care of this.
Okay, flush, but don't look. Oh my God.
Oh my God!
I said don't look!
How? How could someone do all that?
She said she needed to use the little girl's room, but little did I suspect.
The length,
I thought my cooking was rather light and healthy.
And she left the seat up as if she were proud of her accomplishment.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What's wrong?
I'm having a flashback. PTSD.
Oh, come on. I'm sure you've seen it before. Maybe not that much in that one location, but you've seen it.
No, that's the first time I've looked in over a decade.
You don't look before you flush?
Why would I?
There's a lot of information there.
Oh my God, you look!
It's not like I pull up a chair and study it.
Oh my God, I cannot handle this. I married a man who looks.
How do you do it?
Oh, like a normal person. I flush while going. I don't think that I can ever sleep with you again.
What? Why?
Because they're located right next to each other.
So?
It's a design flaw. It's the one thing that I've never been able to get over, and that's why I don't believe in God.
What does God have to do with any of this?
If God were a perfect being, he, she, or they wouldn't have designed the reproductive and waste removal systems right next to each other. And they'd look different.
How would they look?
Well, yours wouldn't be so ridiculous.
What?
You have to admit, yours kind of does look like a first draft. Like it was designed by an infant deity who got frustrated and gave up. An intelligent designer would make it look more Art Deco.
Art Deco.
Oh, and some feathers would be a nice touch. You know, form over function.
If it's okay with you, I'd like to keep a little functionality.
What I mean is art for art's sake.
I'm compelled to even ask. Where would an intelligent designer locate the waste removal system?
The armpit.
We'd poop from our armpits.
And it would come out differently.
How would it come out?
Deer pellets.
What?
If God were a perfect being, we would poop deer pellets. They are cute and simple, non-assuming.
Let me get this straight. You'd believe in God if we crapped deer pellets from our armpits and...
Look how perfect bathrooms would be. There would be no need for toilets, no forgetting to flush.
How would we do it? Litter baskets?
No, there would be a little tube and suction system, and it would be hidden behind a secret panel.
And where would these secret panels be located?
All over, like in your car or in voting booths.
Voting booths?
In otherwise convenient private locations.
It's obvious you've given this a great deal of thought.
I was 5. My mother took me to a petting zoo, and this little fawn walked up to me, and I thought, how beautiful, how perfect and meaningful the creation is. And then I pooped. And I thought, why? Why would God make deer poop look so pretty, so perfect, so edible?
Oh my God, you didn't.
They taste better than Tide laundry pods.
Please move forward in this story, please.
And so then I thought, why did God make ours look so nasty? And then I thought, is there an afterlife? Or is it just a dark and endless void? Or do we dump memory, or are we just flushed and forgotten? At 5 years old, it hit me. I could do better.
Who?
God. I could design a better creation.
Could you now?
Yes. This creation is pretty awful.
The creation is perfect. I wouldn't change a thing.
Oh, really? So you would create little parasitic bits of RNA and DNA covered in a coat of protein that causes everything from cold sores to Ebola?
Well,
And you would allow spina bifida and hypoplastic left heart syndrome?
You can't make the best of all possible creations. That's heaven. And
So
then
what did God
if that's the purpose, then they're here for a reason.
What, to make us miserable?
Then why are they here?
That's a good question. Why?
Didn't make the best of all possible creations. That's heaven.
So what, did God just give us the 57th best possible creation? Oh, or is this the 108th best possible creation? This isn't even close to the best of all possible worlds. Otherwise, we wouldn't need things like science or therapy, or ventilators.
I still say the creation is perfect.
Then why the hell are you wearing glasses?
Okay, perhaps I change a few things.
Like?
Banjos. I'd leave banjos out of the creation. Nobody likes banjos. You put up with a song or two, but then it gets old fast.
You're right. The creation would be better without banjos.
So, what do we do now?
We stop pretending like the world is made for us and admit that, at least from our point of view, it's a less than perfect design. And we start creating a world that's right for us.
That would bring meaning to life.
And to think, we owe this revelation to Martha Stewart. I'll go clean the kitchen.
I'll go clean the tube and suction system in the voting booth.
Sorry. I can't.
Why not?
I'm dyslexic. Code 434. It's a learning disability.
Yeah, I'm a high school counselor. I'm well aware of what dyslexia is.
And don't expect me to pay attention during this meeting.
Why not?
I'm ADHD. Code 1414.
Well, concerning your math class,
Can't. I have dyscalculia.
which is,
A fear of math. Code 3.14159.
well, you're also flunking English.
Can't.
Why not?
I have E.L. James disorder.
Which is,
The total inability to write. Code 69.
now I don't want to be critical.
Can't. I have critophobia. A deep fear of assessment. Code 1414.
Okay, can we talk about what happened during gym class?
I can't. I have antisocial personality disorder. Code 8731. And anxiety attacks brought on by round objects like volleyballs. Code 000.
What are these codes?
They're from the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. My psychiatrist uses them for billing purposes.
Maybe I could speak with your parents.
Can't. Mom's got rumination disorder.
Let me guess. The tendency to focus on one's own problems as opposed to solutions?
Code 911.
Your father?
Stockholm syndrome, brought on by obsessive compulsive disorder, brought on by premature ejaculation. Codes 767, 798, and 54321.
Now, how do you intend to find the meaning of life if you spend all of your days evading responsibility?
Can't take responsibility. Kardashian disorder.
Okay, let's try this a different way. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, that's easy. I want to be an existentialist philosopher like Sartre or Simone de Beauvoir.
Excuse me?
I'm taking this philosophy course that I'm flunking because I suffer from depression brought on by Schopenhauer syndrome, but when I'm not on my meds, I do like to think that I'm an existentialist philosopher.
And how do you intend to get there?
I don't know. That's your responsibility.
Do you even know what existentialism is?
It's a philosophy that teaches that there are no alibis or gods or devils to blame for our condition. There's no hereditary, no race, no parents to blame, no gender, no wrong-headed education system, no childhood trauma, no nothing. We are fully responsible for our nature and our choices. We come into being without a purpose. We must create our purpose and thus the meaning of our own unique life.
Wow. Have you ever thought about what you're saying?
Can't. I suffer from Trump syndrome.
Congratulations. This is the best statement of purpose I've ever read.
Worked long and hard.
I think all of our students should read about how you finally realized the world wasn't going to accommodate you. How you embraced existentialism, took responsibility, and found meaning. Inspirational.
So, I'm accepted into your writing program.
Best creative writing MFA in the world.
Wow.
But
But
there is a problem. Your short story.
didn't like it?
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Yes.
So I'm accepted.
If you admit it's all bullshit.
Excuse me?
What you've written is bullshit. All storytelling is bullshit.
Professor, I want to write great stories that right social wrongs and inspire people to be better people.
You do know novels, movies, poems are just words, right?
But those words add up to life.
No, they're just a bunch of crap writers make up. In real life, there are no satisfying narratives, no neatly packed happy endings, no gift-wrapped love. Do you know the #1 reason for mental illness?
Our screwed up society.
Writers, screenwriters, novelists, songwriters. They spend their lives confabulating beginnings, middles, and ends.
But life does have a beginning, middle, and end.
But it doesn't add up to a plot. Life is ragged, complicated, sordid, inconsistent, and piled with a shocking number of tangents. But above all, do you know what life is?
What?
Inconclusive.
You're kind of rocking my world here. I need stories.
And they make us paranoid.
That too?
What does every story have? A threat, a complication, or a conflict. Read enough and you begin to think that's also true in real life.
But that is true in real life.
No, real life doesn't have that much in the way of conflict. Most of our troubles are borrowed. And the troubles and conflicts that do exist, we can avoid if we give it a little thought, unlike the characters in stories.
But we learn from great characters.
What great characters? Name one.
King Lear.
What can you learn from King Lear? He was a rotten father and a shitty administrator.
Hamlet.
Would you hire Hamlet as a crime scene investigator?
We're supposed to learn from their errors. Great writers can teach us.
Writers are horrible people. If they were good people, they wouldn't be writers.
Some are good.
Name one.
I like Simone de Beauvoir.
She seduced innocent girls and passed them off to Sartre, who later broke their hearts and dumped them.
Sylvia Plath.
Mood swings, impulse control issues, couldn't operate ovens.
Franz Kafka.
A paranoid nut with delusions of persecution.
Confucius.
Wasn't nice to his wife and children.
Buddha.
Abandoned his wife and children.
I still think writers and stories are important.
After going to the theater, you come home, and your wife disappoints because she's not as attractive as the actress up on stage. Read a book and you realize that your husband isn't as exciting as the muscular hero dashing through the pages. And so we become depressed because we don't know that all stories are written for children.
All?
All.
War and Peace.
Children's story.
Emma.
Children's story.
The Bible.
Young adult fiction.
Obviously, this MFA program is not for me.
You know I'm right.
I do not.
Do you know when I and you and everyone else made this discovery?
Everyone?
When we were forced to shelter in place. From our solitary confinement, our time out, we realized that the distractions that make up our society were just that, distractions. And the illusion of story, getting up, going to work, coming home, socializing, obligations, hierarchies, departmental feuds, bullshit-filled breakout sessions were all taken away. What was left? Ourselves, sitting in front of our computers, not wearing pants. Suddenly, we came face to face with the plotless reality that is real life.
So I should stop reading, stop going to movies.
No. Enjoy a good book, see a movie, laugh, cry. But if you're looking for some overarching structure to untangle the ragged, complicated, paradoxical, joyful inconsistency that is real life, you'll be disappointed. We can only find meaning when we admit that we won't defeat our enemies in this lifetime. Virtue will not always be rewarded. The shining prince seldom arrives in the nick of time, and that no curtain will ring down on a wonderful confession from her absent father who suddenly shows up and tells you he loves you. Do you know the only art that even comes close to reality?
Which?
Collage making.
What?
You know those artists who glue a bunch of crap together? That's real life. We are just bit players in a massive Darwinian amphitheater, which does not have heroic significance, nor a noble end.
So what do we do?
The most we can do is have a purpose every day. If possible, a purpose every hour, but no overall plan. For if you have no overall plan, you'll never be disappointed. The meaning of life differs from person to person, from day to day, and from hour to hour. But don't expect these purpose-filled days and hours to add up to a story.
So I'm accepted into your MFA and brilliant bullshit.
Best bullshit MFA in the world. Now, let's get drunk, break innocent hearts, ruin our marriages, abandon our partners and children, and make up a bunch of beautiful, inspiring, well-plotted bullshit that has nothing to do with real life.
I'll go get us a six-pack.
That was a wonderful meal.
Perfect.
What now?
How about we pick up a New York Times and go back to my place and binge watch Ballers?
That's a wonderful idea. Wait. Do you realize what just happened?
No.
Just now at this little Italian sidewalk cafe, we became a couple.
You're right.
At first we were just two strangers out on their fourth date, but now we're
Like, official.
I always said that life was a muddle of chaotic, irregular, fragmentary events, but maybe I was wrong. I mean, for the first time in my life, I finally got it right. We followed a story on our first Match.com meet and greet.
We played it cool.
On our second date.
We both swiped right.
And on our third date.
We screwed like bunnies on crack.
Just like you're supposed to.
And then.
When you said let's pick up a New York Times.
And binge watch Ballers.
It seems so
meant to be.
As if there is in fact an order and structure to the universe. And if this works out,
which I'm sure it will,
tomorrow we'll announce on Facebook and Instagram
that we're a couple
and move in together
and start eating off each other's plates,
start
finishing each other's sentences,
and have long conversations
about breaking up
and wait, what?
Huh?
What did you say?
I was just following your train of thought.
No, you said something different.
We'll announce that we're a couple.
And start eating off each other's plates. But you said something else.
Oh, we'll break up.
What?
Sweetheart, if we're gonna be honest with each other, we have to admit that at some point, we will come to an end.
Yes, but...
We'll break up or go through a messy divorce, and if not, one of us will drop dead or shoot the other.
This is kind of a romantic moment.
Sure is.
And if it's all right with you, I'd rather not talk about...
death.
Or divorce, or...
dismemberment?
Oh my God! Why did you say that?
You brought up death and divorce. The next logical step would be dismemberment. They all start with D's.
I'm trying to say that I love you.
And I love you. So let's set a date.
To get married?
To end it.
But why?
This is the most wonderful moment of my life. I finally found a great lover who's also a Cowboys fan. But who, unlike most Cowboys fans, knows how to put the toilet seat down. So let's set an expiration date. How about 1 year from today?
You give us only 12 months? Your expectations are that low?
The key to happiness and the meaning of life is to set low expectations. That's what I did when I met you.
Excuse me?
I've had numerous relationships that I thought would last. I dated this crazy writer who ran off to find Franz Kafka. And then I dated an insane Trekkie who would only love me if I dressed up as Princess Troyes.
Who?
The heir to the throne of the Pregustation Empire. Both ended in disappointment. But with you, I set my expectations nice and low and was pleasantly surprised.
How low did you set them?
Did it ever occur to you how unnecessary we are in the grand scheme of things?
Don't change the subject. How low did you set them?
We're thrown into existence without our permission. We live on an insignificant planet full of earthquakes and viruses. Obviously, we're unwelcome. In situations like this, high expectations only lead to depression and defeatism.
Please don't say dismemberment.
Don't you see? If we set an end point and low expectations, every moment will be special and every day magnificent because we know it's not going to last.
I want to introduce you to my mother. How do I do that? Hi, Mom, here's the person I love. And no, by the way, it's going to end badly.
No. You say, this is the person I love, and we're not going to pretend it's going to last forever. Because, Mom, the person I love is terminally ill.
Wait. Are you...
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, really? Oh my God.
Yes. In the sense that we're all terminal.
I think I'm having chest pains.
Sweetheart, are you ready for the best year you've ever had? And I mean the very, very, very best. That's 3 varies. That's a lot of varies.
But I need more.
Okay. So we'll pretend it's going to last forever. We'll go back to my place and skim the times and mindlessly watch a show that we'll forget 2 days later. Or we could really read the times and really enjoy Ballers and make the evening a magnificent, mind-blowing, awesome experience that'll last.
Forever?
No. Until we die and dump memory. Consider the lilies of the field.
Screw the lilies! I'm not in love with the lily. I'm in love with you, and I want it to last.
Say it. I'm terminal. Say it.
I'm...
You can do it.
I'm terminal.
No. Say it like you mean it.
I'm terminal.
With conviction.
I'm gonna die! Oh, look, a mosquito! It's gonna die! Oh, look, an ant! It's gonna die! What do you know? Sooner than thought!
And in 1.1 billion years, the sun will consume all its hydrogen fuel and become so hot that it boils the ocean and all life will disappear.
Oh my God, you're right. It all ends in death, divorce, and dismemberment.
Isn't it a wonderful life? Come on, let's have a great evening before we disappear into nothingness. Oh, the moon. Isn't it romantic and...
And...
You can do it. And...
temporary.
For the time being, it's our moon. Shall we dance?
What?
You can only find the meaning of life after you dance a little.
Okay.
Did you see that?
See what?
That poor couple. They were dancing in the street when they were hit by a speeding ice cream truck.
Oh, dismembered. Gross.
That proves it. Life is absurd. Wait, it's you. It's you, Franz Kafka.
Do I know you?
It's me, Stephen King.
Oh, right. The broom.
Couldn't find you. I traveled the world looking for the answer.
The answer to what?
The meaning of life. I went to India, climbed a mountain, and met with a Sadhu.
And did you find meaning?
No. What he said sounded like Taylor Swift's lyrics, so I knew that couldn't be right. So I flew to Tibet and sat under a tree with a llama.
And did you find
No.
meaning?
Got struck by lightning, so I went to a Shinto bell and rang it while spinning a prayer wheel, while taking communion, while fasting.
And did you find...
No. Then I took an ocean cruise, bought an Apple Watch, bungee jumped, watched people have sex on a jumbotron in Yankee Stadium. I earned an MFA and was impaled by the falling rod of God.
And...
No. But then I went to the library. I read all your books and short stories. Then I walked out into the night, looked up, and asked the universe, what does it all mean? Nothing. But then it occurred to me. You're right. It's all absurd. What do you think about that?
Well, I think
Yes.
you're full of it.
But you're Kafka, right?
Yes.
You wrote that we're born covered with slime. We spend our lives in futile and hopeless pursuit of unobtainable goals and die without knowing why we're here in the first place.
Well, some of my stories have happy endings.
Some.
Okay, one.
Why would you write that unless you knew existence was absurd?
Simple. Bad childhood.
What?
I had an awful childhood. And to top it off, I was sick for most of it. Suffered from insomnia, boils, migraines, and boils. Which it impacted my love life. And would you date somebody with big chronic boils?
But that day you tried to jump.
Sorry. Yeah, we all have bad days. You know, in the end, I asked that all my writings be burned. Against my wishes, it wasn't.
Thankfully.
No. I knew the trouble it caused. The universe isn't absurd, it's simply unintelligible.
What's the difference?
To say something is unintelligible is to admit we don't see existence the way nature sees it.
What about things like viruses? They're absurd.
Well, our bodies may follow nature, but our intellect, if we use it to its capacity, can create things that nature doesn't understand. Why? Because nature doesn't understand its nature.
So, like what?
Beauty. Nor does nature understand other creations like kindness, justice, or equals MC squared. Why? Because nature doesn't understand its nature.
So how do we find meaning in an unintelligible universe?
Simple. Martha Stewart.
Excuse me?
What is Martha Stewart's most important ingredient?
I don't know. Profit?
No. No. It's meaning. You take away meaning and it's all just fast food. Add meaning and food becomes cedar. Noodles become longevity. Dumplings become wealth. Wine the blood of Christ. Chocolate love.
I'm talking with Franz Kafka about food preparation while wearing a Spider-Man suit. And the universe isn't absurd?
Well, don't get me wrong. We're still alone in a cold, dark universe.
Ah, there's the Kafka I want to hear.
Well, yes. It's dark. And we weren't designed to deal with the dark. We also weren't designed to walk upright. But now that we've done it, there's no going back. So we have to invent things like spinal fusions and C-sections. We weren't designed to exist outside of nature. As James Joyce said, nature is quite unromantic. It is we who put romance into her, which is an egotism. But again, because there's no going back, we must invent other egotisms like leaps of faith and purpose and philosophy, as well as novels and music and stupid TV shows like Ballers. But the key to all of it.
Here it comes.
Here what comes.
The formulatic answer. To quote you, no matter how good the writer, the most the protagonist achieves is a formulaic answer and resignation. So what's your simple formulaic answer, huh? Humans need to be a part of something bigger than themselves?
No. Life is single use, like straws or that stupid half spoon, half fork thing you get at KFC.
And the simple formulaic answer is what? Friendship?
Oh, well, a few friends are good. But too many people are just untalented narcissists. You don't want to get caught up in their tiny world.
I should have seen it coming. The answer is love.
Sure. Yeah, a few lovers are nice. Had a few more lovers to while away the hours and never would have wrote half the crap I wrote. Especially that bullshit story about a man turning into a cockroach.
Radioactive vermin.
Whatever. Do you think somebody with a healthy love life wrote that?
I've got it. The standard formulaic answer is art.
No. No, we have too much art. We don't have enough plays and pottery and paintings to last us 1,000 years. What we don't have enough of is artists.
Wait. We have too much art, but too few artists?
But what do artists do? They take the raw flowing footage of nature and translate it into terms that they can understand. Like how a dancer's leap momentarily transcends gravity and creates meaning and happiness and perhaps even hope. We need to teach people to be their own artists. Look what we do with our arts programs. Rip them from our schools and universities like weeds from our garden. Don't get me wrong, STEM classes are fine. Let's say one day all the STEM majors find an all-encompassing grand unified theory that unites all aspects of the universe together. You know what the universe will be on that day?
What?
Still unintelligible. From the morning of its creation, the moment it all supernovas, the universe will always be a stranger. The massive trumpets of the universe are crying out, nothing has meaning! Let's pretend not to hear it. Like creating our own tiny speck of meaning, each, every day. As the universe, the meaning of life is the only true absurdity. We should never ask strangers the meaning of life. Instead, be an artist. Artists improve the small speck of land they've been given by sprinkling it with meaning.
And death?
You're looking for that something that's indestructible. When in fact, the dancer, no matter how talented, can only momentarily transcend gravity. In the end, nature always defeats art.
Thank you, Franz Kafka.
No. Thank Martha Stewart. Just don't let her use your bathroom.
The stranger approaches.
Well, let's protect ourselves. We're creating our own unique purpose, so we can continue to enjoy the art of living. There it is. A nebulous, transcendental pit